let's print the response, and you can see we have the name, Sarah Thompson, we have the email, we have the skills which are defined here in the array, but the years of experience is incorrect because as you can see, we have 2019 to 2021, and then from 2021 to 2025, that's 6 years of experience. But here we only have 4, which is incorrect. So this is because, all right, so let's get right into it. So why use structured outputs? Let's understand this first. So when you send a request to ChatGPT, you get a response back in text format. But let's say you do not want the response back in text format. Let's say you ask a math question on how to solve something, and you want the response back in a specific format. For example, you want to specify what step the model is at and provide an explanation for each step. So in this case, the model should not respond back with text. Instead, it should respond back with a JSON schema so that the user can understand the solution step by step and have an explanation for that solution. So this is what structured output provides us with. You can basically send a question and get response back in JSON format. So there are 2 ways that you can use structured output in ChatGPT. You can either use structured outputs for function calling to call other functions. So for example, you pass in a question to ChatGPT, then you can go off and perform a function that basically maybe calls an API or some other function that does some database updates. So this is the first way that you can do that using function calling, and then basically you respond to the user with a text, right? So this is one of the ways that you can do that. The other way is to basically respond back to the user with the JSON schema, which we saw before. And then in the UI, we will actually extract the information out of the schema and display it to the user. So this is the second way. We are going to explore the text.format, the second way for now. In the next video, we're going to take a look at the function calling side of things. So keep a note that only these are the models that are supported in the structured outputs. So when using structured outputs, make sure you are using one of these models. In this example, I'm just going to pass in a LeetCode question to ChatGPT, and I'm going to expect ChatGPT to respond back with a JSON schema that I have defined here. Let's first import our OpenAI client. Then we have a LeetCode problem. This is the two-sum problem, which you might be familiar with in LeetCode. So let's import the problem here. Then we are going to use the responses API to make a call to the ChatGPT. So in the input, we provide a system prompt. We specify your helpful LeetCode tutor, guide the user through the solution step by step. The output will have the code, and explanation section will have the explanation for the code. We'll take a look at the JSON schema to understand the prompt a bit better. Then we pass in the user the actual problem. Then we have the text object here where we pass in the format that we want the response in. So we want the JSON format response, and we specify what the schema should look like. It should be of type object. The response should be of type object, and it should have the following properties. It should have steps and final answer. So again, inside the steps, I want to specify the type of steps, which is an array. The final answer, as you can see, is type string, so we don't need to specify anything further here. But in the steps, we're going to specify an array, and the items are going to be of type objects. So it's an array of objects, and then we specify the explanation and output for that particular object. So now let's take first let's actually get the response from ChatGPT back. Okay, now that we have the response back, here we specify what if the type of the content is refusal. So what is this? Basically, if the user types in some profanity or some dangerous language, then the model will respond back with the type of refusal. So we check if the type is refusal, then print, else we're going to go and get the response back. So we basically convert the JSON into the Python object, which is dictionary in our case. So let's do that. We have the LeetCode reasoning loaded. Then we're going to loop over the LeetCode reasoning and basically print out whatever we have in steps and explanation. Output here, we have basically an entire function, and then we have the explanation for that function. Then again, we have output here, what it's going to do, and then we have the entire explanation, again output and the explanation. So we have the response in JSON format. And again, if you print out the final answer, we'll see the final answer here. So yeah, that is how you can use structured output using the JSON schema. Now I'm going to show you a different example, and this example is basically going to use the Pydantic classes. If you are unaware of Pydantic classes, it's basically used for defining schemas in Python, and it's used for data validation as well. If you would like me to create a video on Pydantic classes, let me know in the comments below. In this example, we're gonna basically pass a sample resume to ChatGPT, and it will extract some information out for us based on the schema that we define in the Pydantic class. So let's load again. Let's first clear all of this out. Let's load this again. Then we have the job application. Here we have basic job application with some skills and some work experience defined. So let's run that. So then we have defined the Pydantic class here. So we have the name, we have the type, and in this field, we're going to specify a description of what that field is in that resume. So it's the full name of the applicant, the name. The email is the email address of the applicant. The skills is the skills, and so on and so forth. So it's really important that you specify the description for each field, because that helps the model extract the right information. And then we're going to make a call to OpenAI. We are going to use the parse method this time, and then similar to the previous example, we're going to pass in a system prompt where we say you are an AI assistant that extracts structured information from job applications. Then we're going to have the user prompt where we're going to pass in the actual job application. And then we provide a text format which has the actual Pydantic model so that ChatGPT knows what schema to respond back in. So now that we have that, we have loaded the job application. Let's load the Pydantic class and let's get the response back. Let's print the response, and you can see we have the name, Sarah Thompson, we have the email, we have the skills which are defined here in the array, but the years of experience is incorrect because, as you can see, we have 2019 to 2021, and then from 2021 to 2025, that's 6 years of experience, but here we only have 4, which is incorrect. So this is because perhaps the model does not know what the current year is. What we can do for that is specify some additional information in the years of experience field in our Pydantic class. So what we'll do is calculate the years of experience based on the current year, and then we're going to specify the current year. So we're going to go to date time, now, the current year, and we have to make sure that it is in string format. Now if I run the class again and print the response out, we see that the years of experience is correct now. So yeah, you have to be really careful with the prompts and really fine-tune it to make sure that the model responds correctly for whatever data is input by the user. Please like and subscribe if you would like to see more AI and web dev related content on this channel.